Okay, so we are starting sitting or kneeling for a few minutes. So if you'd like to make your way, sorry, I'm just faffing around here getting everything where it should be. So if you want to get yourself to a comfortable sitting or kneeling position, that could be in a chair if you want, or back against a wall or whatever. We're going to start with a breathing exercise, but let's settle to begin with. We're concentrating on the heart, so that's not only the heart chakra but also the heart meridians this evening. A little bit of self-care, okay? So let's just settle, softly close the eyes. Let's make space between the back teeth, have the lips softly closed. Perhaps rolling the shoulders a couple of times and letting the hands rest lightly into the lap, onto the thighs, wherever. Have your hands soft. Have both palms face upwards and the fingers gently curled. Take the weight into the ground beneath you. And feel your space on the earth. And the breath gently moving in and out. Tune into that rhythm of your breath. Feel into the palms of your hands, into the energy in the palms of your hands. And at the end of your next inhalation, just turning your right hand palm down. And the end of your next inhalation, turn the right palm up and the left palm down. End of the next inhalation, left palm up, right palm down. So continue in this way, moving at the end of the inhalation. Being aware of the energy in the palms of the hands. Moving those hands just as you feel the end of the inhalation is nigh, almost about to roll over into the exhalation. So a few more rounds, being with that energy at the palms of the hands. When you come to the end of your next inhalation, have both palms face upwards. Feel into the energy in the palms now. Perhaps visualizing the energy in the palms of the hands as a beautiful green light, green spheres of light perhaps. Then let's take that balanced energy and place it into the heart center. One hand onto the center of your chest and the other hand on top. Taking a few breaths there. We're going to take an inhalation. And with the exhalation, just softly open the eyes, and we're going to make our way to child's pose. So we'll be holding this for a few minutes, so your knees can be together or apart, and you can come down onto a bolster if you like, or directly to the ground. Letting the arms rest in a comfortable place. Now having that awareness on the heart center. The energy that we've placed there. And your breath. Can we tune into the breath at the heart center? Imagining the energy there as a green light, glowing in your heart center, gently moving, gently pulsating with the breath. If you happen to have your head turned to one side, turn it to the other side. And feel the body just starting to let go with each exhalation. Each of these heart-centered breaths. We've got one more minute. Either remain as you are or alter your position slightly if you wish. Now let's take a deeper breath in. And with the exhale, gently bring yourselves up to upright position and then make your way onto your back. So going gently, slowly, keeping that essence of the yin about these movements. We'll be coming into a twist. So if you know that you like a blanket or a block or a cushion between the legs, then place one there. And if you know that you'd like to come over onto a cushion or a bolster, then we can place something there. And before we go into the twist, let's just make ourselves acquainted with the ground. So softening the lower back into the ground, having the knees bent, feet and knees about hip width apart, or they can be together. And your shoulders wide, your neck lovely and long. We're going to take the knees over to the left to begin with. So using an exhale, just letting the knees go over to the left and then deciding if you'd like to put some padding in between the knees or if you'd like to come down onto a platform of some sort. And your arms don't have to be rigidly out to the side or rigidly down by the sides. Let them be in a comfortable place. You may like to take the head to one side. Letting go here now. And coming back to the heart center. And your breath. And each exhalation now is a release from the heart. So releasing anything from the heart that's not useful to you at the moment. It might be a physical thing. There could be, you might have a physical problem with the heart. You might be feeling some tension around that area. There may be a little heartache or some negative emotions. And we just try to release that, let it go with the exhalation. One more minute here. Remaining as you are or easing out or going a little deeper as we continue to release from the heart center with each exhalation. Now taking a deeper breath in, and as you do, if you've got your head turned to one side, gently bring it back to the center. And then with the legs, we're going to just lift the top leg and place the foot onto the ground. And then gently roll onto the back, bring the other leg up. Reposition and then draw the knees in towards the chest for a moment. Letting the body realign, the meridians realign, allowing a moment to absorb that practice. And then we'll place the feet onto the ground again. Swap any platform over that you need. Placing anything underneath the knees that you'd like to. Take a breath in, then with a breath out, just letting those knees go over, this time to the right. Maybe the gaze goes over to the left, placing those arms, replacing them in a good place for you. And then coming back to the heart center. For each inhalation, we can feel that we draw in the positive qualities of the heart, the compassion and kindness and warmth and wisdom. And each exhalation, just imagine that green light letting everything flow away that is opposite to that. If the mind wanders off, gently drawing it back to the inhale, the compassion, the wisdom, warmth, and the exhale, release. Another minute here. Now with an inhale, if you have your head turned to one side, bring that nose to centre. With your next inhale, raise the top leg, place the foot onto the ground, let the other leg travel up then when you're ready. Have a stretch or draw the knees in towards the chest, or just resting in semi-supine if you prefer. And then rolling over onto one side for a moment. You may like to take that top hand and place it underneath the cheek and wrap the other arm around, perhaps tucking the knees up. And then use an inhale to gently make your way to an upright position. Okay, and I'll show you what we're going, the next one. So the next one is a variation on the melting heart position. So we start kneeling, and you could have a blanket underneath the knees, and then I've got a block here, and I'm going to bring my head to the ground and place my elbows, eventually onto the block, and then bring my hands together. So if that's not right for your shoulders, you might want to place the elbows on the ground. You could place the block underneath the forehead if you prefer. And maybe just have the fingertips coming towards each other. I'm talking into my pullover there, I realised. So I apologise. So you could have the elbows onto the block and the head coming towards the ground. And the hips are in the air. Hands palm to palm. Or you could have your forehead onto there as well. Or perhaps have the elbows on the ground. Have a play around and see what works for your shoulders. And if that's still a problem, just give me a heads up and we'll see if we can work something else out there. Okay. All right, so we're going to have 3 minutes, but if you need to ease those arms out, then do. Just settle, feel into the ground, come back to your breath. Now feel those heart energies finding the meridians, or the nadis we call them in yoga. Meridians is the going more towards the Chinese side. But anyway, the network of energy channels throughout the body. And in this variation of melting heart, find that green light, carrying the warmth and compassion and the kindness from your heart centre throughout your being. Perhaps each inhalation is stoking those qualities, and each exhalation is once again releasing them around the body. This is kindness and love to you. Just another minute here. Ease out if you need. Then taking a deeper breath, releasing the arms. And then with another deeper inhalation, gently making your way upright once again. Maybe releasing those shoulders a little if you need to roll the shoulders or turn the head from side to side. This is our next pose. I'm going to demonstrate it against the wall. You don't have to do this against the wall, but I'll show you the option. I was going to place, it's a channel 4 position. So I'm placing one foot on the wall and then the other ankle comes to the thigh. And that's just a nice variation. And we can keep that heart centre open there. Of course, you can do that with the other foot on the ground, on your mat if you prefer. But that's an option to explore. Opening those meridians a little more if you're taking that option. Obviously doesn't have to be a wall, it could be a piece of furniture that's not on wheels. Everyone thinks I'm making a joke when I do that, but I'm not. I've actually, we've had that problem where people have used things with wheels. So make sure it's solid if you're doing that option. And then once you're there, settle, have a lovely long neck, settle those shoulders, wide into the shoulders, the hand can rest on the knee, on that thigh, and just apply a very gentle touch, not even a pressure really, just a little gentle reminder just to keep that open as we stretch into the piriformis in that leg. And then come back to your face, a lovely open face, shoulders, arms, relaxed, soft. Come to the inhale and the exhale then. And come back into the heart centre. With the inhale and the exhale. The natural pauses in between the inhalation and the exhalation. And feeling that breath in the heart centre, quietly moving, quietly breathing, heart centre. Your awareness settling there as light as a butterfly. The gentle movement of your breath in your heart centre. One more minute here. Now let's take a deeper breath in. We're going to release that right leg. We've got some choices. We could take both feet to the wall, either with bent knees or stretch them out, or you could bring the knees into the chest or have the feet on the ground into semi-supine. Whatever works for you here for the next moment or two. Okay, so we'll prepare to go to the other side. So now the left ankle comes to the right thigh, the right foot supported on the wall, unless you're doing the traditional form with that foot on the ground. And then that other hand can rest lightly onto the thigh, or onto the knee. And just let the other arm relax, come back to the shoulders, the neck, the face, the lower back, settle all that down. Doesn't need to get involved. With the heart centre open here, come back to your breath there. If you find any resistance or any distraction, just be gentle with yourself. Come back. One more minute here. Okay, we're going to take a deep breath in and then just move those legs back to one of the positions that were described before. So either have the feet on the wall with either bent knees or straight legs, or bring them into semi-supine or in towards the chest. We're going to roll over onto one side if you can. Remember which side you went onto last time, go the opposite way. Draw the knees in, rolling over. Maybe that top hand underneath the cheek, the other one wrapping around. And then let's gently come to an upright position. A little bit more dynamic. So ideally, you slipping your socks off, but if you're very cold on this snowy evening, and you're going to be very careful, you might choose to keep them on, but I would recommend having them off. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So we're going to do the dragon. I'm going to grab myself another block. So this is where we have a lunge pose. So we'll come from a kneeling, which you could have padding underneath the knees. We come into not into a huge lunge, but into more of a square shape. Oops, things are falling over. And then the hands are going to come down. So I've chosen a couple of blocks to bring my hands down onto. You might like to bring them down to the ground. It's slightly kinder to bring them onto blocks, and you could have them quite high up, those blocks. You could have little platforms on either side. Let's have our right foot forward first of all, however, so we're all going from the same place. So particularly if you're hypermobile, it's good to have this square stance. And then let's just settle in. Let's think about those shoulders being in alignment with each other. Softening the face. We're going to be holding this for about another minute and a half, so not for too long. Keep your awareness onto that heart centre. Onto the wisdom and the warmth, the kindness and the strength and compassion there. Finding those qualities coming to you. So easy to send them to others rather than ourselves. So bring them to you, and that's the idea of sending that light around the meridians, around the nadis, the energy channels, is to just treat ourselves with a little love and respect. For just another half a minute. Now we need to just gently stretch out this right leg. So we're going to, with an inhale, walk your hands gently backwards if you can. And then if you can, you're coming onto the heel of that back right foot. It's not always possible for everybody. We stretch it out in a way that we can. Lovely. And then walk the hands back. Slide the foot back. Either come to cat, or if you want to, you could come up to a downward dog. Or onto all fours, whichever. Just for a few moments. Okay, and then coming to kneeling again. And this time the left foot is going to step forward into that square shape. Find your balance and your place there, and then placing the hands down again, either utilising blocks or coming all the way down to the ground. Shoulders in alignment and the heart centre open, the neck lovely and long, face soft as we settle in here. coming to those qualities, extending them around our beings, not only the physical body but the emotional body. The chattering mind body. Another half a minute. Let's take a deeper breath in and walk those fingertips backwards, coming onto the, or towards the heel of that left leg, stretching out the back of the left leg if we can. Lovely, and then coming forward, either coming onto all fours or lifting up into a down dog again, just for a couple of moments. And then come to a just comfortable sitting for position for a second whilst I demonstrate the next pose. So I'll dem with this, I think. So the next one we're going to do is a back bend. So this is supported fish pose. So I've just chosen a single block. You could choose a rolled up blanket or something if you like. And that's going to go underneath my shoulders. So it doesn't want to be too high. So I'm going to lower myself down, adjust. I want the back of my head onto the ground. And then the legs are going to stretch out. Have the legs together if you can. And just have the arms resting in a comfortable place. If that's too much of a drop for your shoulders, you might want to support the arms on something. So if I just hold that position for a moment whilst you choose what you need. So you'll know if that padding underneath the shoulders is too high, because it'll go into your neck. You'll know if it's too low, it's not giving enough support on the top of your shoulders. So when I mean high, I mean up towards the neck or down towards the hips. And you'll know if it's the right height for you. And then bring those legs together if you can. And then softly breathe. We could imagine these qualities coming through the body with a green mist perhaps leading from the heart centre and drifting and flowing through the body. Total kindness. To you. Total warmth to you. Total compassion to you. All coming from a place of wisdom within your heart space. just another minute. We're going to use an inhale to just gently lift onto 1 or 2 elbows, and then we can move what we have underneath the shoulders and then gently come back to the ground again. And as we come back to the ground, the shoulders are wide and the neck is long as we allow the back to readjust. Legs could be outstretched or have the knees bent, feet flat onto the ground. That just helps support the lower back if you would like that extra support. And then from here, let's just draw the knees in towards the chest for a counter pose. Holding them there, keep the head on the ground. Hold them in stillness with the shoulders relaxed. And from here we're going to make our way to relaxation. So it may be that you can just relax here without moving again. If you need to move, roll over onto one side, protect that back, and then coming gently up if you can do. So wrapping up warmly, gathering your things and deciding where you'd like to be. So if you'd like your legs raised up, then taking yourself next to a bed or a settee or something to raise your legs upon. Or maybe having a bolster underneath the knees, maybe. Perhaps having the legs outstretched. Or maybe have them bent. Maybe with those feet going towards the edges of the mat and the knees coming towards each other for support. Specs on or off, maybe having a covering over the eyes. If you've got a sandbag and you like to use a sandbag or a heavy cushion, perhaps placing that just underneath the navel. Having the arms resting in a comfortable place where they're supported. And maybe just lifting the head very slightly and lengthening the neck. Soften the eyes if you don't have an eye covering on. Spacious in the back teeth. Lips softly closed. Open in the throat centre. Settling those shoulders down into the ground. Letting the arms rest heavy and released. Palms of the hands. Fingers soft and open. Relaxing the belly, the back of the waist. Heavy into the hips, into the thighs, the lower legs and the feet and the toes. allowing the breath to move at its own natural rhythm, its own natural pace. Feel into the space around the head, the shoulders, the space around the heart centre, the space around the lower abdomen, the space around the legs and the feet, space just full of a green mist. And quietly being in this space, knowing it's full of those qualities of kindness and warmth and wisdom and strength. Quietly being there with these qualities. The quiet gently drifting down. Letting the quiet and the mist just drift down, down, down like a pebble into a pool, just taking its time to make its way down to a sandy bottom. Each time that we gently drift down through the space, like the pebble in the pool, find that the mantra Om is dropping down as well. Finding space below us, dropping down, green mist floating down. Mantra Om, it's taking us down, down, down. May I taste the wisdom of the stars and be reborn in the heart of the fire. May I dance like the flames. May the roaming winds cup my ancestors' words to my ears. And may I find a mother's love in the salty embrace of the ocean. May I act with integrity. May love be the root of all my communications, even when I'm offered something other. May I know every encounter is soul-sanctioned, blessed, approved, and contains a gift, so I may learn and grow. May I remember this as often as I can, and may I be gentle with myself when I forget. May I remember it only ever takes a heartbeat to return, to change course, to transform. So you have complete permission to stay as you are if that's what's required now. Otherwise, just gently feel into the ground holding you and come back to your breath. Feel your breath against the ground, solid beneath you. Perhaps just bringing movement to toes and fingertips. And if you have a sandbag or a cushion on the tummy, sliding that to one side, popping any eye coverings to one side as you gently roll over to one side, any side. Placing the top hand underneath the cheek and wrapping the other arm around. And letting your eyes just very gently open now, keeping the gaze down and slightly fuzzy and focused. And then using an inhalation, just gently make your way to an upright position. And we'll bring our hands to the heart center. Om Shanti.